the crowd pass and everything. So yeah, I still don't see Tyler in here, so I don't know what he's doing. But yeah, I guess I can go a little bit as we wait for Tyler to join. But yeah, basically the check the announcements page. Tyler dropped a thing on his on the announcements, and basically in there we kind of went over a little bit about the changes that are going to be happening to the project and like the reasoning for them all. Essentially, like we in going through the CryoPass, we saw and learned about a bunch of different little things that in hindsight, some of them are obvious, but basically we need to change some of the process of the project, and also the project is going to be super expensive for us to go as high as we were hoping for on the circulation. And so basically, check the announcements in Discord for the breakdown of everything. But basically, the big changes are going to be that the circulation is no longer going to be 12,500. There will be 8,000. And the reason for that is that they basically we have to pay a small fee to all of the on each mint. Basically, it adds up to about 0.013 or so Solana, which isn't that bad per, but basically it ends up being around $25,000 for us to pay for those to come up. And so yeah, that's not your issue. It's a little bit of our issue here, but at the end of the day, everything else about the project is going to be the same as far as the unicorns go. It's all going to be free to get. We're going to be doing like a redeem system instead of a mint system. Otherwise, you would have to pay for that mint. Yeah, so that will be the change to the circulation. In a similar vein is why we are also removing traits as NFTs. So traits will be separate pieces, but they will not be NFTs that you can send that you can like pay for or sell on an aftermarket. Because basically, in the same way as unicorns are around $2 or $3, each trait would be $2 or $3, and we need about at least 10x of what unicorns are in circulation currently. But really, that's only the first beginning spot, right? Like there was a moment where we were like, okay, maybe we'll get out the unicorns and then mint pretty quickly after the traits. But then there would be like this awkward spot where you're kind of like stuck waiting to do something with your unicorns, and so and then we're still left with the crazy amount of just a money drain that it would be to pay for all of those traits all the time, and it's kind of like would never be ending, right? Until at least 6 months once the trait boxes are done for the unicorns, and so. So all of that led to NFT or traits are no longer NFTs. They're going to be game pieces, which you can fuse to your unicorn. And so like that process is still the same and will still be part of the project where you collect traits and then you can fuse them to your unicorn. And then the other way, you can buy unicorns on the aftermarket and then burn them to get the traits from them. So that's kind of how you would sell traits and buy traits is you would buy a unicorn or sell your unicorn for because you've got a really rare trait that you're looking to buy kind of deal. And so additionally, like our biggest step right after launch will be to get like a in-game store is the idea. And so it would kind of be like the Steam community marketplace where you can sell in-game items that you like earned playing the games on Steam, right? It's kind of the same deal here where you'll be able to like collect traits, you'll be able to list them and buy them, but they wouldn't be NFTs, and you wouldn't be able to take them outside of that marketplace. It would just be that you collect those and then you fuse them to your unicorn, and then you could go sell that unicorn kind of deal. So that's the those are the two big ones that are going to be changing. Hey Tyler, I'm picking up a lot of feedback from you, man. But Yeah. Okay, what else is happening? Hey, Ty, can you mute yourself, man? Cool. All right, what else is happening? Okay. So yeah, the other side, and this is actually fully connected to the bots, is that we cannot leave NFTs unminted because they could be potentially get botted. And so essentially, that is another big step. Is that the unicorns are same deal. You'll still get a new unicorn for free after 8 and 13 trades, but that will not happen until every 4 weeks. There will be a new drop. And so it's like, so if I have a unicorn and I fuse 8 traits to it, and on week 2, right? I can keep fusing and get to 13 traits on that same unicorn. And then once the next drop happens, I'll get 2 unicorns because I was able to get, basically, since the last drop is when the unicorns are counted. So and it's going to happen every 4 weeks. And the reason for that is it's going to be an entirely different collection. So it'll kind of be like unicorn, Genesis collection or whatever will be the first 8,000. And then based on how many people fuse 8 and 13 traits that first 4 weeks, there will be a new collection with however many there are that need it, right? So we'll mint the exact amount and then we'll airdrop them to the owners of those unicorns. So that's one. And so we're going to do that 5 times. So the first 8,000 drop is considered a drop 1. And then there's going to be 5 more drops every 4 weeks that have that have the amount of unicorns based on how many hit 8 and 13 traits. And so then once that, so basically that goes 24 weeks, and then there's going to be a 2-week gap between season 1 and season 2. And so basically Stranded Unicorns is going to end after 24 weeks, and the trait boxes will stop for owning a unicorn. And basically the hope is that we're going to have a play to earn game by the time that happens. And so you could go purchase go get another free character from season 2, or you can just play the games with your unicorn and collect trait boxes continued on in that way. And yeah, so those are probably the biggest ones. Yeah, really that's the big steps that are going to be changing. And so there was a few days where we were like thinking that we weren't going to be able to do this at all. And so that's kind of it was really stressful. The from Cryo past day on, it was, and there was times when we were like, okay, we're not going to be able to stay free, and then there was times where we were like, okay, this project isn't going to work at all. But we kept pushing and figuring out what exactly the process that led us to this point. And so we feel really, 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 really confident that this is going to keep bots away, and that this is going to make it so that we can keep it free for everybody in a continuous basis, kind of thing. And and so we're running some mainnet tests today and tomorrow to make sure that this process is the process we are going to stick with, like as far as like the minting and redeeming side, because on launch day you're not actually going to be minting, and the reason is we can't charge you 0. First of all, it's impossible to charge you 0 because when you mint, it costs 0.01 SOL, which again isn't that bad, right? But that's actually why we got botted, is because there's bots just watching Etherscan and waiting for projects to be a certain price, and then they mint as many as they can. And so that's basically what happened. And so essentially, we're not going to be able to do that. We're not going to be able to allow a really low cost mint because it would get bought. And so because of that, we have to do it internally, where we'll mint all of them, and then we will be basically allowing you to redeem is the idea. And so it'll kind of feel the same way, and it'll be a lot more smooth than the raffle was, in that we're gonna basically we'll have them all in our wallet, but basically once you press redeem, if you're one of the people who get to redeem it, then it'll be auto airdropped to you, kind of deal. So instead of manually doing it like we did for the raffle, but yeah, and so that's part of the testings that we're going to be doing this week, is the the mint process, making sure that bots don't get it, and then also doing the auto airdrop stuff that we're working on. And so yeah, so essentially how it'll feel for you on launch day is we're still planning it to be a first come first serve mint, first come first serve redeem is the word that we're using, because it'll already be minted, right? But if you're one of the first 7,000 to click the redeem button, then you will be basically automatically tagged as the person who owns this, number 2,500 or whatever, and then that will get auto airdropped to you. And yeah, and so that's the big changes. And I think I'm sure that some of you might not understand or agree with the changes that we're making here, but it basically came down to, it's hard as hell to do a free project in the current state of everything. There are open source things on Ethereum that allows you to be way more custom with all of the smart contracts. But with Solana, you have to go through Metaplex. Otherwise, you would not be able to be listed on an aftermarket. And also going outside of Metaplex, you have to be like a Rust developer, which there's very, very little Rust developers out there in the world. And so basically you have to use Metaplex contracts, which doesn't have the features that are necessary to prevent botting on a free project, and B is a company, so they charge you 0.01 SOL each mint. And so it's essentially impossible to do a free project without doing it this process. And so because on Solana at least, and so on that note, it's kind of it's how we see it is this is like the kickstart, right? We're still able to keep it free. We're still able to get it to hopefully 8,000 different people. But basically that's going to be the seed point, and it's a lot smaller than the 12,500 number. But basically, once season 2 comes around, we can really we'll hopefully have more money to be able to pay for a larger mint and be able to really open this up to a bigger audience as we open up layer 2 games, which we want to have millions of players still, right? And so it's just going to take a little bit longer to get to that point than we had anticipated. But I think that it still could happen within 2 or 3 seasons. We could still get to that large player base that we're wanting to do. So yeah. Tyler, I don't know if you want to say anything. Can you say anything? I can't hear you. The mic. Cool. So I saw somebody over in YouTube ask, does Cryo Pass get you priority for season 2 drop? And yes, it does. Basically, the utility of Cryo Pass is a little bit evolved, but basically the first step is you're guaranteed a unicorn per Cryo Pass that you have. You get 1 unicorn, and then after that, you can keep holding it, and it'll be basically a governance vote that you'll per Cryo Pass, which will allow you to decide on where 10% of our royalties are going to go. So basically, we're getting 7.5% royalties. Of that 7.5%, 10% of that will be going towards a community wallet, and then you as an owner of the Cryo Pass will have a vote on where that goes every month. And then so that's utility 2, but utility 3 is that you will get guaranteed whatever the next character is for every season. So as long as you continue to hold it, it's like a battle pass where you'll always be able to redeem the character of the season kind of deal. So yeah. All right. Someone said, add another 4K by helping pay for gas. How can we participate in that? And yeah, like, like I think that it's cool that you guys are even willing to do that. But for me, it's like, why ask you guys to, do a GoFundMe or a Kickstarter campaign or something like that when, we can handle it. It's going to be a lot of money on our part. And like, hopefully we'll get through everything. Right. But it just to get those extra 4,000, like, I don't know if it really impacts the project like in a massive, massive way. It's in fact, like, I would say that, like, I want 12,000 players in the beginning, but having lowered the circulation, I think, is going to actually increase the value of all of the unicorns, right? And so, which is going to lead to more resales happening, which is going to lead to more commissions, which will allow us to have a way bigger mint on the season 2, 3, 4, and 5 kind of deal. Yeah. Let's see. Somebody asked, can you get a free one in addition to having a cryo pass? Yeah, I think that we're going to allow people to try to be part of the first come first serve mint, as well as redeeming a cryo pass unicorn. We're still like finalizing that though, so I wouldn't say that it's guaranteed that's the case, but I think that we'll like, I'm leaning towards allowing for it to happen. Yeah. Basically, the numbers are it's 0.01 for the Metaplex fee. Then to add basically every item that is added to the candy machine, which is like the thing that has all of the data for all of the 8,000 unicorns. It's about 0.0016 Solana per. And then there's the gas fee, which we were already planning on covering. But basically, all of it ends up to around 0.0128 Solana per unicorn kind of thing. And so Solana is right now at around $245. So it's right around $3.13 per unicorn. So basically, each one is every 1,000 costs about $3,000, a little over $3,000 per 1,000 unicorns kind of deal. So yeah. So yeah, if traits aren't NFTs, will you still be able to fuse into your NFT? Yes. And so basically, how like the impact of the traits and the fusions really doesn't have an impact outside of the traits not being NFTs. The traits are now game pieces, which you can collect, the same way through a trait box. You open a trait box every 7 days, every unicorn you have, and you get to see 3 traits, and you get to pick one for free. And so that's still the same way. It's just that's not an NFT. That's just like a thing that's in your user account kind of deal. And then you can then fuse that to your unicorn to evolve it, and that unicorn will now, on all the aftermarkets, you'll be able to see that it has that trait. That'll be how it goes on there. And so yeah, you'll still be able to fuse it. And then the other way too, you'll be able to burn a unicorn to collect the traits that are inside of it, kind of deal. So if I have a unicorn with a laser horn and a shirt, I can buy that. I can sell that. You can buy that from me, and then you can burn that unicorn and get the shirt and the laser horn in your wallet. And then from there, and I guess wall is the wrong word. It'll be like you're on your user account kind of deal. And so from there, we're thinking that basically the first step after launch is going to be get a community marketplace inside of the dashboard where you can resell those. So it'll basically like feel like an NFT, just like you won't be able to sell it anywhere else besides this dashboard kind of deal. And so I think at that point, that'll be like really key to get that up so that you can still trade on those for yourself, and you can collect more traits and then sell them out. But the cool thing is all that will be done in like in-game currency, and so you'll be able to like disenchant all of the traits that you collect and turn those into in-game currency, which you can then use to go buy other people's traits on that marketplace kind of deal. So yeah, like I think like it's a little bit of a workaround, right? But it makes it so that you can still trade traits and you can still and we don't go broke having you guys play it. So yeah. Hey, what's up? It's like really quiet. Bummer. Are you using your Yeti mic? There's a little volume knob at the back. You see? There's a gain. You can improve. It's a little bit better. Keep going.
Not the right way, I don't think.
Sorry. Yeah.
Anything better now?
Oh, that's better, dude.
Yeah, this is a Discord setting. I had it really low from how shitty my mic was on the other laptop. So
Cool.
okay, I think I'm in now.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, I guess did I miss anything?
No, I think you've been crushing it. I just wanted to add one thing. Kind of NF3 may have put this into perspective for me in a way that I see it as a positive more than something that I was afraid to be a negative. And that's if you had the money and you had 7 unicorns in your wallet, it used to be more pay to win, and now it's less pay to win. Technically, as long as there's a transaction of any kind, there's always an element of pay to win. But in this particular situation, if you did buy traits to level up your character and you wanted to go sell them, you'd have to sell a unicorn and then they'd have to go burn it. There's so much more preventative measures to block people from paying to win. So I think in a lot of ways, this new process, it increases rarity by only having 8,000, and it also makes it a little bit more of a pure experience. So at least you could look at it that way. I'm not saying it's definitely that way. And in the future, there will be ways to buy and sell traits on our marketplace, so that ultimately will be a part of the game eventually. But I kind of see it's not. I don't think it's taking away from the spirit of the game. Is the main thing I wanted to say.
Yeah, and the other thing on that note too is like a lot of people were worried about like an exponential situation on inflation, where basically like after if you start from week 1 with 1 unicorn, pretty much once you get like 3 or 4 unicorns, you can pretty much guarantee that you can not buy any more traits and you'll get a new unicorn every week. And so the exponential nature isn't as big anymore now that we're only doing the free drops every 4 weeks, because it'll be exponential a little bit every like month to month, right? But it'll take you might hit that point where you're finally at 8 traits, but it's week 5, and so you have to wait 3 more weeks to get to the point where you're getting your second unicorn. And so I think it'll like also slow the max circulation down a little bit too. So yeah. Yep. All right.
A few people ask a few times about that in-game currency, and I think the most honest way to respond is I'm a huge fan of it. Like what is it, Super Love Potion on Axie? It's doing really well in the market, but just from an investor standpoint. And then there's the bananas, I think, for forget that monkey project, CyberCons or something like that. And so like I'm a big believer in incorporating some kind of currency with an NFT project. And it was actually something we were going to try to do in the very beginning. But technologically speaking, it probably won't be something we can touch right away. So just to be honest with you, it's on our map, it's on our radar. We want to do it, but I don't want to slow down the ability to play layer 1 right now to wait for that, because it could be a couple months before something like that is really that we can do it the right way.
Yeah, and what you're meaning there is that to run that in-game currency, we could like make a coin outside of the game kind of deal, right? And so like I think that first step, what we'll have at launch is some sort of in-game currency that is not a coin, but it's like a like 1 per dollar kind of deal. Like you put in money with a credit card or a debit card or whatever, and then that you could use to buy the additional traits kind of deal. And then once we get to the marketplace, like for like the community kind of marketplace, is when we'll probably try to tackle integrating a coin into all of this, because at that point it'll be something that, like Tyler was saying, like SLP with Axie Infinity is like something that people who don't even play Axie Infinity are investing in, right? And because it's like it's the thing that you have to use to create more Axies in Axie Infinity. But people, like, I think that's like such a cool thing that we want to get to, is when we have the play to earn games and we're in season 2, 3, 4, 5, like people who aren't into unicorns or aren't into the games themselves, they can like invest in this from an outside perspective and still like be able to make money, which means that everybody's making money, I think. And so that's something that we want to get into. And I think it would be like the thing that really makes the community marketplace like actually like really useful is when it's a coin that not like a in-game currency that you can't really do anything with outside of just purchasing other people's trades kind of deal. So yeah. All right. And yeah, as far as Mint Day or Redeem Day, Mint Day is so much cooler sounding than Redeem Day. But Redeem Day, we're still planning to like, we don't have an exact date. Our hope is within like 2 or 3 weeks, but we really won't know like a defined. Yeah, that's right. At least till middle this week, probably later this week, we'll have like a really clear view on like, yep, testing went well. Now it's just on to like the front end UI stuff that's pretty much what's going to be happening after this week. And so that's where it's like, if we can get to that milestone, then we'll have a pretty clear idea that it's going to work, or that like what date is going to work for the Redeem Day kind of deal. So yeah. And you will not have to pay for gas fusing traits. Basically, so how the metadata is going to go. And so this was like kind of already our plan, but we've like kind of nailed the coffin down onto it now, is basically for the first 6 months, like while it's in season, all of the metadata of your unicorns will be on our server. And NFT people don't really like that too much because it's centralized. I have some opinions on that, and mostly it's that if we're at a business and we're not paying our servers, then there's really no value in these things anyways. And but basically, the thought is that if we were to have it on Arweave or on IPFS, we would have to pay a cost every time to fuse when you fuse to refresh that metadata. Or and this was actually what we were thinking before, is that we would just burn the NFT and make a new one. But that was before we realized that there was a $3 fee per time that happens, right? And so basically how it's going to work is it's going to update the metadata of your unicorn, and you can keep it fluid like that. But after the season is over, we're going to be making a new collection with the amount of unicorns that are in circulation that will be Arweavable or Arweaved. And so you can choose to pin it to the blockchain at that point for yourself. But that's on you to like pay for that cost to move it over to the blockchain. But additionally, once that happens, you won't be able to fuse your unicorn anymore. It's kind of like locked forever. And so that was the other thing too, is like, when that happens, then like I think that some people will look at that value differently, even if you have less traits or you're not a Pegasus 3 or whatever. If it's on the blockchain like pinned forever, then I'm sure some people will want to collect that. Like different types of people will want to collect that. But basically, if you're wanting to evolve that character over time, you've got to it's got to remain on our server, the metadata. Because really that's what an NFT is, right? There's the blockchain side saying that this wallet owns this thing, which is unique from all the other things. And so that still is going to be the thing, be the case for the unicorns. But the third thing is the metadata, and like some people don't like. A lot of people don't like when it's not on Arweave or on IPFS, because that means that we could turn off our servers and the metadata changes, right? But for us, we're kind of like we can't run this as a free project without having that on our servers and loaded in that way. And so, but we are going to like basically allow you the ability to pin that to the blockchain afterwards. But it would lock your character in forever, kind of deal. So, yeah, that's it.
I saw a few people talking about the Twitter giveaway, and it seems like I just checked, man. It's like crazy how many people have already done it. But all you really need to do, you don't need to reply to any tweet or anything. You can just create your own tweet and mention us. We're at unicorns with an S at the end, NFT, at unicorns NFT, and just put in your favorite GIF of those like 5 that I put in the announcements today. And a lot of people, man, I'm scrolling through, I couldn't even count how many have already done this. So the main reason here, to be honest, is to get this out in front of more people, bring more attention to the community and to the project, which it seems to be doing really well. So yeah, and then on Friday, it'll be a random drawing to get 5 people who get a cryo pass.
Cyclops just asked a good question. If you have the metadata of a stolen cryo, can't we deactivate them and also the scammed ones that have been scammed from raffle winners? And so here's the thing on that. And like it's really frustrating, right? Like I wish we could just take it back. I wish we could deactivate them. If we did, the trust of this project would kind of collapse because then we can, as a centralized organization, like we're publicly showing that we can move these things at our will, right? And technically we could, but again, our policy is that we're not going to touch these outside of the system, by the fact that you're fusing this thing, like our server is doing the movement. It's not us doing the movement, right? Of the metadata. And so that's first thing. But second thing, and the bigger thing around this is that if somebody like a bot puts up for sale, CryoPass number 2, right? Let's say they do that. Well, somebody might buy that, and without them looking into the metadata to see that this is one of the stolen ones or one of the scammed ones, then that person is buying one in good faith that they're going to get the utility of that CryoPass. It's frustrating, right, that somebody who stole it or got it maliciously is able to make money on it. But at the end of the day, that person bought it and they're trying to play and trying to be part of that utility that they get from it. And so that's why we're going to, basically allow the ones that have been scammed or been taken through bots, the utility is going to still remain, because it's part of the CryoPass collection, and that's that's what is going to bring the utility, and people will buy things with the idea of getting that utility. And yeah, it's a hot topic, I'm sure. But
I think the most positive way to move forward without looking back is those that have been sold by the bots who took them. They're now in the hands of real community members, and they get to participate in this game. They now have a guaranteed unicorn, and they were willing to pay that money, and that benefits the community as a whole. And it shouldn't harm anybody down the road who didn't realize it, because truthfully, the only way to know is if we told everybody the numbers that were taken, which I'm sure many have already figured out, or they go into the actual data, the token ID, and be able to go find it in Explorer or Solana.Explorer, whatever those sites are. And so I think it's just better for us to move forward. And the truth is, many of you who bought one may have actually bought a stolen one and you wouldn't even know it. And I think that's better. So let's just move forward, I think, in a positive way. The community has them. It's just better.
Yeah. Yep.
I did want to talk about something in particular. This week is pretty calm. Last week was kind of calm as far as the amount of new people who joined our community. The week before, we had 13,000 new people sign up for the wait list. We had nearly 6,000 new people join our Discord, and it just brought a lot of good attention, but with it some bad. And there's a lot of scams. There's a lot of people trying to DM you like they're pretending to be Nolan or they're one of our mods. I think in general, it's good to talk about this in a way where this is our recommendation. Don't do any trades. If somebody's trying to get you to sell something to them for this way, and then I'll do it in this kind of particular thing, just don't do it. Just keep it clean. And the reason why is there's no like customer service at Phantom where if you said that they were going to do this and then they were going to send you just after that this amount of Solana, nobody's coming to help you after that. So just we're not the best at replying to our DMs, but we'll try. But my recommendation is don't do any trades unless you know this person in real life or for whatever reason you really trust somebody on Discord. But I personally would not do any trade. I would just buy and sell on the marketplaces, which actually brings me to another thing. I know a lot of people have been having issues with Digital Eyes. I'm trying to get to the bottom of it, but everybody I'm talking to from Digital Eyes is telling me we've been approved. Our collection is verified. It's under the name that we listed. And so they're not really helping me out that much. And I just don't understand why everybody is still seeing that message that says, it may appear that this is a verified collection, but just know that it's not. I don't know why that's happening. And so I'm working on it. But for now, I would just stay on SolSea, which, by the way, SolSea has historically responded to my request for help within 3 hours, like every time. And this morning, they reached out to me, and I haven't talked to them in like 4 days. And they said, when are you guys going to do your main mint? We're ready to help. So I like SolSea. The people at SolSea are more helpful and more responsive. But I'm going to do what I can to fix Digital Eyes. And also over the weekend, we were approved by Magic Eden. They need some more info for me. I'm trying to ask them some questions. And like I was saying, they're slow to respond, which is why I'm mostly on SolSea, because Digital Eyes is not helping me much fix this issue. And Magic Eden often doesn't reply for like 2 days to questions. And we need to go back and forth like 5 times to get the exact right information. And if it takes 2 days per per conversation, it's just tough. So I'm working on it. I'm sorry that it's taking so long. I know some people may be more familiar with and prefer other marketplaces, but for now, SolSea works. It's listed, it's verified, and it seems to be a safe place to buy and sell cryo passes. And in the future, I think it'll be the same for the unicorns as well.
Dope. Yeah, we want to bring anybody up to the stage or anything? Whoa, we got an F3 man and XTZ up here. I didn't even notice that. Hey, guys.
Yeah, hi. I actually had something regarding trades. It was just me and I think Zesty Stoner said that we would be willing to do middlemans as long as the people paid gas. I think Kangaroo actually already has done some.
Yeah, I know that's happening, and you guys are great. Our mods are great, and if you want to go through the mods, like that's up to you. But outside of that, I would recommend not trading. That's just my opinion. So everybody do their own thing with understanding the risk is basically all I'm trying to say. But if somebody comes to you and they're like, oh, I want that number, and like I'll pay you if you send it to me, I'll send you like 0.2, like whatever it is, I wouldn't do it. That's my thing. But if it's one of our mods and they're willing to do it, it's a lot of work for our mods and actually, I don't know how the arbitration and escrow is happening, but it does take gas money for the mods to be able to send stuff. So as long as everybody's being compensated, their time is not being wasted, I'm okay with that. But personally, I would try to stay in the marketplaces. But as long as everybody does so, knowing the risk.
I agree that marketplaces is definitely better, and I think both me and Zesty are pretty much of the same line that we want to do it for free as long as we just get paid for the gas.
Yeah, and that's nice. Everybody should know that's a really big favor. That's like them spending their time helping everybody else out. So as long as everybody appreciates them, I think that's good because it just takes time to be able to do that and to also be able to trust somebody to handle that as well. So as long as everybody understands that's a pretty big favor they're doing. That's pretty good.
And really quick too, I want to mention that DevFs has been putting together like a pretty good list around all of the scams that have been happening. A few people unfortunately lost their cryo passes over the weekend to scammers. So if you guys can, please go check out the Known Scams channel. our Discord just to kind of keep an eye out. But as Tyler was saying, like the big thing is if it feels too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true. So unfortunately, with like crypto, it's like one of those things like it's always hindsight 2020, and then once you go through it, you're like, well, shit, I got caught, and that so. It's really unfortunate. So just be careful, everybody, and check out the Known Scams channel for more info and all that.
And as we get bigger, we attract more of that type of energy, and it's unfortunate because I would say 99.9% of our community are great and they have no negative intention. It's just a really small few that they cause us to have these issues around the cryo pass, man, cause us to change the way we do things, and we got to keep it safe. It's just the reality of the situation. We're going to react to it, do the best we can, but please be smart. I've fallen for scams when I first started doing this. I don't even want to say, but it happens. It happens to everybody. I've talked to people with like $1 million worth of crypto, and they've fallen for scams. So it's not like, oh, you're dumb if you fell for a scam. It's like Nolan said, it kind of seems really awesome. Like, oh, these people are nice. They're going to help me out. And then you're like, oh, you know what? That actually makes sense. And it doesn't sound that dumb until you send them whatever they ask for and you don't get anything back. It all of a sudden feels dumb. So like, just look at it from that point of view. We've got people out there faking websites, faking that they're Nolan and DMs and all that kind of stuff. So just be aware. But hey, Nolan, this person Compy is asking, is there a max amount of points around? I think what they're saying is the attributes, power levels, rarity, traits. Maybe you want to just talk a little bit about like how to Pegasus and the max amount of points real fast.
Yeah. So basically there is no max level, but on the graph of the, you might have seen the graph where you like make your trait red and it puts the points into the endurance red category kind of deal. Basically there's two circles. And so the inner circle will be 100 points and the outer circle is 150 points. And so the reason for those two is once you get one color to 100 points, then you'll become a base class. So if it's red, it's going to be a tank. If it's blue, it's going to be a mage, right? And so you could get two categories or two attribute categories to 100, and you'll be what's called a cross class, which is a cross between a mage and a tank, right? And so in the games, you'll have half your abilities will be mage abilities and half will be tank abilities. And so that might be like a really cool way to play the game. And you might choose to just like leave it there, right? And even add more cross classes, which would, again, turn it into 1/3 kind of deal. But basically, if you keep fusing on the same colors, and so let's say you're at red 100 and blue 100, well, you can bring both of those to 150. And then once you hit 150 on 2, it'll become a combo class. And so a combo class for for red and blue would be an arbiter, which an arbiter, it will get like magic tank abilities basically, right? And so there's basically a lot of different combo classes, and also you could continue to just do one color even, and you could be like a level 2 tank if you get your tank, or if you get your endurance to 200 points. And I'm going to go post it over in general chat on Discord. That's our graph. We're gonna put together more GIFs to kind of show that process of everything. But those are the different combo classes and base classes. And so we're honestly, I think that the class system is going to be like the coolest thing, and the cool thing is all of these classes will be the same for all seasons. So so once you get it now, you'll continue to get it for future seasons, because part of the lore is going to be that the fact that they're in space, they like kind of like evolve themselves and start to tap into this like cosmic energy that all super advanced civilizations go by, which turns you into all those different types of classes kind of deal. And so so the first season's unicorns, next season is going to be a whole different character, but they're going to be one of the advanced races of aliens that the unicorns meet, and those people, those whatever they are, whatever character they are, will already be like tapped into these abilities and classes kind of deal. So yeah.
Nice.
Everybody loves Necromancer. Necromancer is like one of those things. It's like, you get like, it sounds badass, but then
It does.
Like Necromancer tank is always a fan favorite on the TikTok lives. People, because you're like, you can lifesteal and you got a lot of health. Like you can mess some people up, but also I'm gonna make a paladin, and my paladin will be also pretty badass too. Okay, so yeah. All right.
Can I mention two things?
What's up?
First of all, us mods or staff team are turning off DMs, and we're doing that because we want the people to use mod mail instead of only DMing us, because it's easier to keep track of, and there's more people who can respond to your questions basically. What is mod mail? Mod mail is basically this bot that you can DM. And when you DM it, we basically get the messages. And secondly, I want you guys to please stop DM advertising, because we ban people for that, and it's sad seeing people go.
Yeah, no, it's a good call, and it's sad. Like, I see why people do that. I know a lot of other collections and projects. They base their entire marketing strategy around forcing people to do invites and stuff like that, where if they don't get X amount of people, they can't be whitelisted, and all these different things I've seen. So I see like why people do that, but I do appreciate our mods' point of view and trying to keep it clean, so that by being a part of our community, it doesn't mean you're going to get spammed like every day 10 times by some other projects that you might not be interested in. So if anything, we do have the, what's it called? I just want to make sure I say the channel, shill. Like, I think, don't we have another, like a shill channel where people can go in there?
Yeah, we have shill zone.
Right, exactly. So yeah, just
people can send all the invites they want.
Exactly. So yeah, I appreciate where the mods are coming from. Thank you for announcing that.
Yeah, it's sad seeing people go. Also, the people who like the active people.
Yeah. Maybe we can even like work out a way where, I don't know. We'll talk privately about that. Yeah.
Yeah. We've been thinking about some different warnings and stuff.
Yeah, because I do want to make it strict. Like, let's please avoid that. But at the same time, hopefully after like one warning or something. Yeah, we'll talk privately. Yeah, I don't want to be so punitive just to make a point, but at the same time, we do got to protect our community here.
Yeah. Well, awesome. So yeah, Peta Pizza's in here. They've been a follower since the early days of Rad Collab. So it's it's good coming around. But yeah, also we're over here sitting with like 13,000 people in our server. I think this is not financial advice, right? But I think that the way that CryoPass value is going to go is it's going to keep it. It's honestly, we've been amazed that it's held to one sole floor for so long. Like, honestly, I was expecting it to dip once the raffles came out, but it just shows we got a lot of diamond hands in the community, right? But I think that might change a little bit as we lead towards launch. We've already, I haven't checked the wait list in a few days, but we're at like 25,000 people in the wait list, and the circulation just got a little bit smaller, right? And so we're I think leading up to launch, there's going to be there's going to be an increase of value of the cryo passes, but then once we hit launch, it might go down a bit, and then it'll go back up leading towards the next season and things like that. And so, but basically because of that, we're gonna keep trying to fiddle with the cryo pass and add more utility over time. Somebody mentioned in YouTube a minute ago about if we do a unicorns coin, Unicoin, do maybe we do something like sending that to CryoPass holders. And the issue with that is it's that would be considered a security. And it would basically be regulated, and the aftermarkets would kick us out. And so we're definitely not going to do any kind of utility like that. But things that would allow you to be able to like move faster in the game would be a cool thing. And we were even chatting the other day about maybe like if you get to a Pegasus 3, you can fuse your CryoPass to your Pegasus to get a Pegasus 4, which is impossible to get to. And so like, I don't know, things like that could be really, really cool down the line. It would be, it would deflate the CryoPass, but it would also make it so that like Unicorn Pegasus 4, like, that's probably the most valuable character you could ever imagine. And at most there's 1,000 of them. So it's like, yeah, I don't know, like things like that could be really, really dope to get into. And yeah, I mean, we were also even thinking like just spitballing the other day, like, you might get a trait box every month too if you're a CryoPass holder, but I don't know, like things like that, like that's where the utility will be in this. Is it'll be like in-game utility, not really utility in the sense that you'll be getting airdropped coins and stuff, because that's where it kind of becomes a security and gets really messy. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
You got anything else to cover, Ty?
No, I think it's a good place to wrap it up and get back to some other things. One thing off that note real fast, I guess, is that we have this incredible channel on TikTok that just does so well. Like 2 weeks ago, we had like almost 13,000 new people join our community, just really from a few TikTok videos that went. Well, I would imagine most of the people in our community now are from that little surge, and that kind of surge could happen at any given moment. So, these cryo passes, they represent a much larger percentage than they did a few days ago against the total circulation at mint. At mint is now going to be a bit smaller than it used to be. Our list is growing. I just checked on, we're almost at 26,500 on the wait list. So wow. I think being able to get a unicorn at mint is going to have value. Even with all the changes we made, the value probably is compensated to be similar, if not even more valuable, because of the additional rarity by having a smaller circulation initially. And if, say, 2 months down the road, I've heard some people ask these questions, what are you guys going to do? Like, we have to wait for a layer 2 game, and how are we going to keep the momentum going? We're going to be running all kinds of competitions and prizes around, like, for instance, the highest rated or highest ranked yellow healer unicorn is going to win $5,000 at the end of the. So everybody's going to have to go try to find traits and do things around that. It's going to be fun. There's a lot of things that we can do to keep the momentum going in the upward trajectory, meaning buying, traits, owning your unicorn, playing the game. It's going to have financial value, if not also being a part of this community and fun in the long term. So I hope everybody understands. Nolan and I are not. We're not going to stop doing what we're doing when Mint happens. That's really when the fun begins. We're going to start doing all kinds of things that we can't do right now because nobody has a unicorn yet. And then, not to mention, we're going to be building games, creating an open source platform for everybody to come in and build their own games, characters, avatar. So the amount of things that we can do really doesn't begin until after we mint. Right now, we're just trying to get that mint going. So I hope everybody sees the long-term value and understands that while this may be slight change, it's only the beginning that we're going towards in the long term. So hopefully everybody stays with us. I really appreciate the amount of positivity and support that we've received in the last couple of weeks, and I'm very optimistic moving forward. I just wanted to finish on that kind of positive. I know, everybody has different opinions on things, but that's how I'm looking at it. And that's what we'll set out to and live up to. So yeah, thank you everybody for hanging out with us here.
Yeah. All right. Bye, guys. Well, by the way, I'm going to be live on TikTok in about 2 hours as well. Okay. So we'll see you over there. All righty. Have a good one, everybody.